There we go. Sending data. Sending data. Sending data. I wonder if I can get back on Kick with this. I just realized I could stream on Kick if I really felt like it. I don't know the wisdom of doing so, but whatever. Let's try it. Wait, where's the 6-digit code? Verify OTP code. There we go. Oh, I did not grease up this chair, as I said I would. Restream. Oh, I guess I'm using Restream. Oh, wait, it's this one. Add channel error. True. There you go. Let's see if I can reconnect this now. Hex gonna give it to you. There we go. So I could potentially turn this guy on. Too low IQ for horses. The volume could go up a few scooches. Oh yeah. All right. Well, you asked for it. There we go. It's pretty loud. I think I'd have to put in like a gain plugin on OBS. Oh wait, that's the master. Is that the fucking no? Is that the master? No, there's no master control on this guy, so you just have to crank up the microphone. That's a little too loud for yours truly. Also, I was like slouched in my chair, blah blah blah. All right, well now we're on kick.com, and we're on Twitch, and we're on YouTube. So what's up, Agatha? All right, let's get down to, this is a new chapter, chapter number 8. And we may just get through one chapter today. I'm lazy as hell. We only have 68 days remaining to complete this project, though. And I guess we should get to it. Maybe I was just further from the microphone when I mentioned... Yeah, I was like, over here. God, it sounds awful. It's like somebody's getting murdered over there. All right, let me just make sure that nothing I'm supposed to do is supposed to doing at the moment there. Yeah, how do they summon you to work, Agatha? Are you on like Slack or Teams, or do they just fire a bunch of gunshots and then you have to scurry on over to the safe house? How's it work out? I'm tired of being summoned by 68 days. That's how long this fundraiser runs for. So at the end of 68 days, I don't know, the world will burst into flame. I feel like I should be done with this in 68 days, right? I think it's fair. Really, we should be doing like about 2 to 4 hours of this every day. But just, you know, family life and that kind of nonsense really makes it difficult. Oh, wait, hold on. Can I... ZaxDYC.com Teams, but I just log out whenever I want. Like you're living the life. All right. So last chapter we got into the dwarves who were attempting to thwart the Battle of Sweetwater Keep. I hate the corpse ship, and then I know I do way fucking more than they pay me for. Same, man. I used to try to keep it down to like one meeting a week, And then uh, I'm sad to say that those days died with COVID, and so did I. Anyhow, let's get down to it, boys. I hope your afternoon's going a little bit better than mine there. My head's aching, and I think it's due to advanced leukemia, but still got to edit. Can't say no to this shit. Uh, wait, damn, I gotta. Why did I come up with this idea? So I just cursed. So now I have to add $1 to the donate feed. Let's see. Wait, hold on. I could. What I could do is I could make this Martillo leaderboard appear somewhere on the screen. If I was smart, I'd like program an API or something like that so it popped up in real time. And then I'd have it doing chat detection, so every time I cursed, it docked me automatically. But I'm not doing that. All right, so the things that you need to know about the stream, which I think both of you already know, is one, all the money we make on this is going to charity. The donate number hasn't increased, though. Well, nobody has donated. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to donate $1 at a time. Then I'd be spending roughly like 33 cents in credit card fees every single time. I'm going to donate all the money at the end of it. Maybe I'll up it like once a week or something like that. But yeah, just microtransactions. They screw you. Let me see. I can reload the source on this thing. But I think other than your very generous donation, and I think CJ got in there, and some other person got in there. Refresh the cache of the current page. Yeah, you're going to have to take me at my word that I will give them $5 for right now. But we can work on it a little later. All right. Let's get down to it. So this is Chapter 8. I'm going to call it New Player Day. But if we can come up with a better title for this at some point, that would be great. So here we go. Chapter 8. New Player Day. Oh, no. Maybe maybe this should be in italics. Oh no. The feeling hit just as Robin was helping Una hunt for her keys. New Player Day had come at last. Robin planned to arrive at Duke Games 20 minutes early, so he could be the first to pick an army out of the case. For days he'd pored over the loner rulebook to find an unbeatable combination of troops. In his black and white composition book, Robin filled a page with potential armies. He planned around the strongest unit in the case, a squadron of white-bannered Imperial Knights. Worried he might get second pick, he devised a second army to counter that, and another to counter that one, in case he was third. In between the records of his chess games with Una, he jotted down rule reminders and strategies. I think it's a little clunky. So one of the big problems with this is how uncompelling some of like the rules explanations and stuff like this will be to non-nerds. To nerds that play video games and tabletop games and stuff like that, I believe that they will eat this stuff up with a spoon. But if you're putting out a book, maybe, and it's in fantasy and science fiction, now maybe 30 to 40% of your readers are women. And if you're successful, it's something like 70 to 80% of your readers are women. And they don't typically go for this kind of thing. So we probably need to slim down a lot of this here. Let's see. In between the records of his chess games with Una, he jotted down tactics and rule reminders. I don't like that, rule reminders. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can maybe. Anyhow, like all we're really trying to say here is that this kid is spurging hardcore on how to win this game. He's been like poring over the rule book and like devising his little army and everything. He's in deep on trying to be the #1 war gamer on EFNet. All right, let's try this. Worried he might get second pick, he devised a second ounie. All right. Worried he might get second pick, he devised a second army to counter the first. Then, comma, he designed another to counter the second, in case he was third pick. Uh, he filled the opposite page with rule reminders and tactics. Yeah. All right. It's a little much there. Anything he didn't want others to see if they peeked, he wrote in tiny lines of Spanish. Diario de Martillo had an entire. What do I sound like? I sound like a. What is it? Like Sebastian the lobster from The Little Mermaid. Diario de Martillo. Give me the pussy. No, anyhow. Shout out to Nick Mullen and his boys. God, I've watched those dumb clips so many times. Diario de Martillo had an entire 2-page spread devoted to New Player Day. Satisfied with his battle plan, Robin thought about how he could win the other guys over. Mm-hmm. So this is really meant to like open up and talk about the kind of person that Robin Martillo is. That he's deeply analytical and autistic and cunning, etc. So hopefully some of that comes across here, but we'll have to see. Satisfied with his battle plan, Robin thought about how he could make friends as the youngest person there. It was critical. When he played football with the older divisions in Amarillo, they hated to be shown up by a younger guy. He got beat up once by Martillo. Weird fact, in Argentinian Spanish, the double L is a sh sound. Martillo. Yeah, in southern Brazil, like Sao Paulo and so forth, they say dia instead of dia. So it's like bon dia. You can tell like from a million miles away if somebody's from South Brazil as opposed to like Rio or whatever nonsense they got in the north. I know that they got like right on the equator. They got a good spot for launching rockets. But let me see. I think I wrote about it a little bit in another story. Satisfied with his battle plan, Robin thought about how he could make friends as the youngest person there. It was critical. When he played football with the older divisions in Amarillo, they hated to be shown up. It's Amarillo. He's an American. He would say Amarillo. They hated to be shown up by a younger guy. He got beat up once for running his mouth. Robin expected the other players would test him and try to throw him off his game. The key was to take it easy, laugh along, and take them by surprise. He would not break. If he rolled bad, he wouldn't let it bother him. He would take it on the chin, move to plan B, and win. When he did, he'd give a firm handshake, nod respectfully, and say good game. Robin despised players who were smug or who gave excuses in post-game interviews. He wanted to be just like El Güero, Raul Cardenas de la Vega. Cardenas played, I don't know what the accent over the A is supposed to do. Cardenas, I'll just say Cardenas. So I don't know how to do that. Cardenas played in 3 World Cups and won 5 Primera Division titles for Cruz Azul. On the microphone, he was soft-spoken, confident, and matter-of-fact. Everyone loved him. Robin would be just like that. Today was the day. Oh, no. Robin rushed to the bathroom. The nausea had been absent for 3 days, but it returned with a fury. Una had made a larger breakfast than normal. Hot cakes and boiled eggs, the breakfast of champions. She'd urged him to eat up to make it through the long day of gaming. It all came back. Robin clung to the bowl with his eyes screwed tight and panted between gags. Isn't throwing up hot cakes and eggs? Hell yeah. Who hasn't been there 1,000,000 times? That's the best thing about flapjacks. They come up smooth. Although I hate... Oh, man. I hate throwing up eggs. You get like that sulfur taste in the back of your throat. Ugh. The spins came and the world seemed to breathe in and out. He felt this one, like high on drugs, clinging to a toilet bowl, and he got the spins and the world seemed to breathe in and out around him. You learn a lot on LSD. I was just thinking about that while reading this section. He got the spins and the world seemed to breathe in and out around him. By the time he could quell the rebellion, brush his teeth, and get cleaned up, he was already late. Puking into the toilet and my eyes bugging out of my skull. Oh, God. Yeah, you ever get like to where you were like clinging to the toilet and just weeping from the pain? Oh, that's a rough one. And like you know you're gonna throw up again in another like 4 seconds, and you're just riding the dragon, I guess. I give up. Let's go another day. He slumped back into the kitchen. I give up. Let's go another day, Robin sighed. What? No, we're going. You have to bring the rule book back. What? No, we're going. You have to bring that rule book back. Una, they'll have started by the time we get there. All the good stuff will be picked. We have a double space. I don't understand why it doesn't just highlight like double spaces and stuff. You can... Let's see. Is there an easy way to make... Highlighter visually between double spaces between words. You got to use find and replace for double spaces. See, this is like a great feature that they could just add into there for nothing. But I guess AI is going to do all this. I honestly got it. Almost all proofreading and stuff like that will be AI in the near future. Una, they'll have started by then. Yeah. They'll have started by the time... No, it's... Also, he shouldn't call his grandmother Una. It's like very presumptuous. Tita, they'll have picked all the... We're too late, Tita. We're too late, Tita. They'll have started by the time we get there. All the good stuff will be picked. Then you can go and watch. You've been talking about this nonstop for a week. Two horas. Ooh. Oh, I don't. So I know that's two iras. Two iras. Is it iras or iras? Iras. How do you say? I actually want to know how to say this one. Here. Let's see if we can get Google to pronounce this for us. So if I do this.
Tú irás.
Oh, I think I need to turn up one of these. These.
Tú irás.
Tú irás. You're going. So tú irás, literal translation, you will go. And we're learning Spanish while we're doing this. Tú irás. All right, and then the other part of this is that when we do these parenthetical translations, the period should be there. Tú irás. I don't want to show up late and sick. Too bad. Paul Morphy won the world championship with dysentery. Wow, she says this whole thing in Spanish. Fernando Busco ganó el campeonato con las rodillas destroyadas. Sube al pinche carro de una vez. She says, Fernando Busco won 3 championships in a row with 2 bum knees. Get in the car. All right, let me translate this one to Spanish. I'm interested to see how far off my to eat ass. All right, let's see how off my pronunciation was here. I honestly, I really like Spanish.
Fernando Busco ganó el tricampeonato con las rodillas destrozadas. Sube al pinche carro de una vez.
So, and I'm not gonna when she says sube al pinche carro de una vez, she's saying get in the fucking car, right? Or it's more like damn car there. But wait, they're doing bandwagon here for car. So it says it's getting like a pinche caro. No, this is a sube al pinche caro. Isn't caro right here? Because this is subete ya al maldito coche. What are you really gonna call? Subete de una vez al maldito coche. All right. We need like an actual Spanish person to figure this out. I'm confused by Google's translating. How about norovirus or hantavirus? No, it's I if I have to say like a literal translation in here, it does not count. Oh wait, it does count. Damn it. Why would people in modern times in Western world get dysentery? What about something similar? So that Paul Morphy championship is actually, I think in the 1800s. Morphy was like much older, and they didn't really have a grip on dysentery back in the day. Plus, he was in England at the time, and as you know, they're filthy, street squatting savages over there. So I will give them $1, but I feel like I shouldn't have to pay because like I was just translating, but you caught me, so I'll put it on there. Yeah, Paul Morphy, the story about him winning with dysentery is true. It's actually kind of dope. Yeah, I think El Pinche Caro. Hold on. Let's ask. Let's see. This may be one of the things where the translation is meant to be in the. Let's ask AI. What's going on here? So I do not have a Spanish translator here. Couple of minor linguistic or historical snags. Let's see. Native speakers almost universally use the reflexive form subete, get yourself up, rather than sube when giving a direct forceful command to a person. Um, okay, and then she wouldn't call it a truck. Okay, so I agree with the subete over sube, because that sounds like the main thing is I do want this to sound like it's a native speaker. So this is subete, not dubete. It's nice that it can tell that it's Espanol, though. Subete al pinche carro de una vez. And it's like way more vulgar than she would be. But because Una is a former Air Force pilot, she can curse there. Yeah, Morphe was a real G. Yeah, he was like crazy good for his day. Like I like that Fernando Busco won 3 champ. I like that they have a tricampeonato, um, a word for winning 3 championships in a row. It's dope. Una's voice snapped. Robin lowered his head. When grandmother became abuela, it was time to be quiet. Actually, this should just be Tita. Yeah, and that's yeah. When Tita became abuela, it was time to be quiet. The falcon started on the first try. It was afraid of her too. I like that he's a little afraid of his grandmother because he's only 13 in the story, right? And like when you're 13, unless you're a real POS, your grandmother can still like knock you around and so forth. Although she's 72 in this story, so it is worth considering, but he's a good kid, so he's afraid of his grandmother. Also, she's been beating with a shoe since he was like 2, so. Robin lowered his head. He hurried into the car. The falcon. There's a comma on 2 here. Oh. Oh. All right, so the car's not actually afraid of the grandmother, but I want to write it out. Once they were underway, Robin fumed silently in the passenger seat. The old, cold anxiety burned in his guts. He hated to be late. His mother, Lucinda, Lucinda, was never on time, ever. She never cared, but Robin did. Everyone they met was exasperated. No one was ever happy to see him, and there was nothing he could do about it. So, no. Tita is a diminutive, right? It's a nickname for her. Abuela is just the word for grandmother. So typically, in a sentence, we wouldn't. Yeah, it's a name substitute instead of just being a noun. Exactly. Well, when Tita became abuela, huh? Yeah, I guess. When he doesn't say abuela here, But if he does say abuela, then actually it makes a lot more sense too. Oh, and then C needs. I gotta get the C abuela. Yeah, I actually like that change there. I'm gonna give you a point for this guy. Cause 6. You're up to 6. An abuela versus abuela. Yeah, like so. Yeah, the point is meant to be like, yeah, I mean, you get it there, but I think if we put in like this, right? Yeah, here we go. So we want C, this C. Ugh. I really should just learn how to do the Spanish accent marks on the numpad. Like I know how to do like the weird 0 and the other stuff that I need to, but just because it's cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And so he is afraid that he's going to get popped here. Just between you and us. I don't include any violence against children in this story, but let's see how this reads. Una's voice snapped. Si, abuela. Robin lowered his head. When Tita became abuela, and then the final part of this was actually capitalizing this. When Tita became abuela, it was time to watch out. He hurried into the car. He hurried to the car. The Falcon started on the first try. He was afraid of her, too. Una drove furiously while Robin fumed in the passenger seat. The old, cold anxiety burned in his guts. He hated to be late. His mother, Lucinda, was never on time, ever. She never cared, but Robin did. Everyone they met was exasperated. No one was ever happy to see him, and there was nothing he could do about it. Very early, Robin learned to always bring something to read. John Tunis, Matt Christopher, Michael Hardcastle, Roald Dahl, C.S. Lewis. Why do we have so many of these? Yeah. John Tunis, Matt Christopher, Michael Hardcastle. When when Lucinda was late, he tore through them on the back steps of the school until it got AI viewers stream. I'm not gonna pay for AI viewers. AI viewers can't give me money or advice. They're useless to me. Yeah, like seriously. Just like, what are you gonna do with fake viewers? Be a fake motherfucker. Yeah, that's what you would be. All right. Yeah. When Lucinda was late, he tore through. When Lucinda was late, he tore through books on the back steps of the school until the two. He tore through books on the steps of the school until it got too dark to read. Then he'd give up and walk the 5 miles home. The distance was on him. It was Lucinda's fault for not coming, but the distance was on him. Robin was the one who'd gotten himself expelled from the closer school. All right, cool. I like. It's a little clunky in the wording there, but I really like him like facing the consequences for getting expelled from like the closer school. So I want to keep that part in. On the rare occasions where she actually showed up, Lucinda brought a litany of excuses. On the rare occasions when she actually showed up, Lucinda was always late. She brought a litany of excuses with her. Lost keys, wrong turns, car trouble. They were all lies. Robin didn't realize until child services started to come around in the 4th grade. They only made things harder. The law got involved and Una took it on herself to snatch him back to Albuquerque. It wasn't an improvement. Robin hated every movement under... it wasn't an improvement. Robin... Living with Una wasn't an improvement. Robin hated every moment under her roof. Lucinda was barely there, but she never told him what to do, and never hassled him about schoolwork. Una was on him like a hawk. She ironed his shirts and talked to his teachers. He had to do chores and go to bed when she said. If he even thought about talking back, she'd slap him hard enough to make his ears ring. Even worse, she made him go to church. Every Saturday was confession. Every Sunday was mass. The whole weekend was ruined. If Robin fidgeted the slightest bit, she'd yank him right out of the pew, drag him into the parking lot, and give him a talking to that he'd field for days. There we go. Oh, so I do have violence against children in this. Metal. All right. Let's see it. If Robin fidgeted the slightest bit, she'd yank him right out of the pew. And drag him into the parking lot. Just need to make it like abundantly clear that the child is getting beaten here. All right. If Robin fidgeted the slightest bit, she'd yank him right out of the pew and drag him into the parking lot. He'd get a talking to that would ache for days. The Falcon puttered to a stop in front of Duke Games. Robin got out in such a cloud that he forgot his bag. He was halfway to the door when Una honked at him. He clenched his jaw and walked back. Robin, Una thrust the bag at him. She was just as mad as he was. Gracias, he said automatically. Thanks. Gana, Una ordered. Win. So we break from the style of parenthetical translation that we were using previously, but honestly, I think that will get scrubbed right out of the book. And I think that this 1, 2, 3, 4 thing is really effective. So we're going to leave it there. All right, now we can get back to talking about horses, Sloth. So is there a better title for this than I do like Get in the Car. Like, I just want to call it maybe I'll call the chapter something keeps sliding across my frame of, oh, is there some, oh yeah, is this little page thing in black that pops up on the chat that just keeps triggering my autism. Let's see. I like that they call him El Guero. El Guero. Okay. On the Guero. Oh, I do kind of like Tu Iris. Yeah. Tu Iris. Right, so we're going to use Tu Iris for the chapter. All right. What do we think? Do we have time to go through another chapter? I think it's a short one too. All the chapters at the start of the book are like purposefully super short, and not just because I have intense ADHD and just wandered off from writing these. Though unfortunately, this is a chapter that was added later, and all those kind of suck and are long. Yeah, because like during the rewriting process, it just screws up my ability to like be brief and so forth. So, uh, let's do chapter 9. A horseman's coronet. And is coronet the right word here? I always mess up like cornet and coronet and stuff. Although I did get like a round of proofreading for this. So a coronet, Dodge Coronet, was an automobile. Wow, they had a coronet for a long time. Yeah, what is a coronet? Yeah. Yeah, it's not a coronet, it's a cornet. Yeah, brass instrument. So the cornet, which is what I wanted, brass instrument similar to the trumpet, but distinguished by its conical bore, more compact shape, and mellower tone. Yeah, this is like an 1820s instrument. Let's see. Yeah, we should really find something. Yeah, because I'm really looking for like a bugle. Using instruments like the buicine and kettle drums. Buicine, yeah. So a long curve horn. Let's take a look at what a buicine is. Oh yeah, the buicine is what we want, like the long medieval trumpet. The buicine and anaphil were straight medieval trumpets. Nafir. Okay, so an Arabic Turkic instrument called the nafir. The buicine stems from the bucina, Roman military horn. So there was a Persian Arab Islamic trumpet, which was used by the Moorish armies before the Crusade. The fanfare trumpet. Let me see. NFL. Yeah, so these would be Imperials there. So I guess the buicine, a natural trumpet. This is what we want. We want a natural trumpet. The natural trumpet was originally a holeless instrument. Modern replicas. Okay. Bucina. Let's see. Wow. It was like 3.4 to 3.7 meters in length was of a narrow cylindrical bore, played by means of a cup-shaped mouthpiece. The tube is bent around itself to bell in the shape of a broad C. The bucina was used for the announcement of night watches, classicum, and so forth. Okay, yeah. Huh. Ancestor of the trumpet. I mean, we could just call it a horseman's trumpet, but yeah, I guess I hate to use the word buicine because one, I don't know how to say it. Although maybe Google does. English.
Buizine.
Buicine.
Buizine. Buizine. Buizine.
Buzzine.
All right, let's go with the horseman's bussy. Buzzine. Yeah, it's not really catchy either. Like buzzine. A horseman's buzzine cut through the sweat. I mean, like honest. So if we're being fancy, it's a buzzine. If we say a horseman's horn cut through this, well, horn like could could be saying it's like a unicorn or some nonsense like that. All right, a horseman's buzzine cut through the squelch of sin. Jarelian the traitor, and we call him Jarelian the cur elsewhere. So let's call him Jarelian the cur. Jarelian the cur burst shirtless from the tent, panting through wine-stained lips. His eyes were glassy, and lines of livid sucker marks burned across his back and neck. In his hand, the obsidian bane blade thrummed, ever hungry. Report, Jarelian barked at his knights. Knights is capital. Sir, the Lancer captain pointed a gauntlet at the rise. Steel glinted through a column of dust. A troop of foes roared over the ridge. Yeah, this should be... Steel glinted through a column of dust as a troop of foes roared over the ridge. Jarelian had the urge to turn and flee. But as he squinted, his purple lips twisted into a grin. He expected an entire army to crash over the ridge in a screaming tide. Instead, a single unit of diminutive footmen bore down on the command tent. Their movement was slow and unsteady. It seemed the enemy might have imbibed as deeply as he. "Is this a jape?" Jarelian demanded. The Lancer captain's blackened gorget creaked as he shook his head. He seemed just as bewildered as Jarelian. Apparently, these drunken dwarves were charging right into the teeth of his heavy cavalry. Yeah, like, it's so hard, like, the cavalry and cavalry. Alright, of his heavy cavalry. It had to be a trick. "Levib! Get out here, witch!" Jarelian bellowed. There was no answer, likely because she had no mouth yet. It took time for the sorceress to regain her human form. "Bring my horse. Form up," he ordered his knights. The squadron quickly trotted into a chevron. Yeah, so much French stuff, and everything that has to do with horses. There's some French word there. Squadron, chevron, Mr. Hans. Yeah. Jarelian wondered if he ought to wait for Levib to compose herself. This seemed like some sort of illusion. But he was very drunk, and quite... but... No, there's no comment there. But he was very drunk, and quite tired of being told what to do. The black blade tickled inside of his ear. Oh yeah, this doesn't sound good. The black blade murmured in his ear. The black blade murmured in his ear with promises of hot blood and luscious screams. Why bother to don armor against such pathetic foes? Jarelian the Cur wore the full favor of Chaos Manifest in a spiral of blackened sucker scars across his chest. He was invincible. If they want to die, I shall oblige, Jarelian boasted. He mounted his horse on the second try. Gurgling shrieks chased him. Gurgling shrieks sounded from the tent, but he paid them no mind. His ears were full of black whispers. Charge! Jarelian raised his woeful blade. His horse thundered forward. Cool wind blew against his burning skin, and the black blade spurred him to slaughter. Here, we can use the full Bane blade here. And the Bane blade spurred him on to slaughter. Straight ahead, a red-bearded dwarf glared at Jarelian with icy blue eyes. He was not afraid of the Bane blade, or the squadron of thundering hooves behind it. The little runt actually dared to smile. Jarelian screamed a battle cry and raised the Bane blade for a charge. Why are people messaging me here? Alright, there we go. Let's see. Charge! Jarelian raised his woeful blade. His horse thundered. So, just FYI, all the battle scenes are meant to be written slightly ham-fisted. Like, not eye-rollingly ham-fisted, but a little, like, overblown. This is happening in a young boy's imagination. And it's a perilous line to tread. You don't want to, like, knock the reader completely out of this. We're like, you know. But at the same time, this is also the style that the magazine that this whole thing was like patterned on for nostalgia reasons. They used to write in this style for all of their like battle reports and so forth. Okay. Jarelian screamed a battle cry and raised the Bane blade for a killing stroke. Hell-bent, he never saw the shadows shifting between the Elderica trees. ... Okay, and then we get into the Robin part of this. New Player Day began as a complete disaster. By the time Robin arrived at Duke Games, the rules explanation was over, and everyone had already picked out their army. Everyone had already picked out their army. Everyone. Everyone had already picked out their army. There was almost nothing left in the case. The 3 remaining units were the weak this season dwarves. Yeah. The 3 remaining units were the dwarves Duncan had warned him were weak, a unit of scuffed-up Imperial halberdiers, and a handful of Harkmoon archers. By the time Robin had spent drafting army lists in his diary were worthless. Worse, There were an odd number of players now. It looked like Robin would have to sit out and watch. Luckily, Jeremy Curry turned up. He was a club member. His cohort of chaos was in 5th place. Jeremy wore heavy frame black glasses and a leather jacket with his club pin on the lapel. Duncan asked Jeremy to play a game. Duncan asked Jeremy if he'd play a teaching game with Robin. Jeremy wasn't into it. He'd only come in to buy the new Slish Slish the Riffmasters box set. There was only one left. This should be 2 sentences. He'd only come in to buy the new Slish Slish the Riffmaster box set. It should be boxed set. There was only one left. Is it box set or box set? Right, let me consult the Oracle here. Okay, so originally it was the latter, but in speech the boxed part would get swallowed. But because this is like 1970, it used to be boxed set. So let's do Google Ngram. Ngram is really good for this kind of shit. Dang it. Just I'm up to $7 of cursing money here. Good lord. All right. Let's do this in lowercase. Okay, box set versus boxed set. Oh, cool. So this is actually perfect for our thing. So boxed ED set peaks at around 1980, right? It starts to climb around 1980, and then by the 1990s it dips, and then the year 2000 boxed set is the preferred, right? But then very sharply, box set starts climbing up in like 1990, and as of right now, it is almost more than double the usage, right? So this is an example of like so just saying boxed, it's versus box, there's much more effort to say boxed. So that's why this is this way. It's just like the pattern of language like slowly blurring. This is a tiny little thing that we really did not need to spend like 20 seconds. No, we probably spent like 60 seconds on this thing, more every second that I talk about it there. But the thing about any kind of historical fiction, it really lives and dies for these details. And you know, so, like mostly old people, I think, read historical fiction, and they for nostalgia, and they will really call you out if you get stuff wrong. So this is almost minutia, but it's nice for me anytime we get one of these things hopefully right. So yeah, and I was alive during this transition, but I was not paying any attention to this. I was smoking drugs. So that's why I need to rely on Google to tell me what's what. Duncan asked Jeremy if he'd play a teaching game with Robin. Robin wasn't into it. He'd only come in to buy the new Slish Slish the Riffmaster box set. So this is a situation where really we're doing like a lot of telling instead of showing. You could have this whole dialogue and so forth, but I feel like after we did all the like highfalutin fantasy or whatever, let's see whether or not we need to break this into dialogue. The less lazy way would be to make this dialogue present, but we're not going to do it because I'm lazy at the moment. Duncan wondered aloud if maybe he should just buy it himself for the store case. Through his thick All right. I actually kind of like it where it's not told as dialogue. Um, yeah, and it's told by the narrator here. There was only one left. Duncan wondered aloud if maybe he should just buy it himself for the store case. Through his thick lenses, Jeremy's eyes bugged with terror. Shanghaied, Jeremy quickly, let's call him JC here. There we go. He was a club member. His cohort of chaos was in 5th place, and everyone called him JC. He wore heavy frame black glasses and a leather jacket with his club pin on the lapel. All right, good. Shanghaied. Let's do. JC quickly agreed to play. All right, that's why this is like this. Shanghaied, JC quickly agreed to play and went out to his car to fetch his army case. Duncan rang him up with a crooked grin. Robin was ashamed that he's not ashamed, he's embarrassed. Robin was embarrassed. So basically, like, I wonder when. I wonder if this is like a too late in the game. So essentially, is always a more popular version of this. Basically, essentially. I do like more or less force. It sounds good to my ear, but it was a slick move, but Robin wished he hadn't more or less forced someone to play with him. It was a slick move, but he'd more or less forced. This is better before I started meddling with it, I think. I do like the rhyme, but this ain't poetry. It was a slick move, but Robin felt embarrassed that Duncan had to make someone play with him. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, instead of a brand new player playing borrowed... Now, instead of a brand new player using borrowed troops, Robin would face a veteran's real army for his first game. He had no chance of victory. He had no chance of winning. There we go. For a moment, yeah, he thought about just walking home. He thought about just walking home, but Uno would demand to know what had happened. It was a long walk, and he really wanted to watch the exhibition game after the new player matches. Robin decided to accept his fate gracefully, without complaint. The problem was, the feeling wasn't mutual. JC griped endlessly and acted like he was doing Robin a big favor. He didn't teach anything. He drank sugary coffee and talked through the whole deployment phase while Robin tried to remember all the rules. Robin needed to concentrate. His units were weak and he needed to position them carefully. Robin badly needed to concentrate. While he tried to focus, Jeremy yammered on about how awesome the Riffmaster was. And there should be a comma there. Oh. And how he would probably win the whole campaign once he got him painted. Then he went on about how cool it was to be in the ROTC and how Robin should join when he got older. Jeremy wanted to Let's use JC in all these. Yeah, I like JC. He's a stand-in for Christ, by the way. JC wanted to join the Marines when he turned 18 and become a scout sniper. He already had the haircut. Robin nodded along and tried to focus on deployment. Robin nodded along and tried to concentrate. When he realized Robin wasn't impressed, JC got annoyed and sighed at the clock. It turned into a real drag. By the end of setup, the other tables were already laughing and having fun. Jeremy was bored and glum. Robin tried to move quickly and efficiently to make up for lost time. Jeremy took an eternity with his turn. On his turn, Robin tried to move quickly and efficiently to make up for lost time. Jeremy took an eternity. Jeremy took forever to make his rolls. Uh-oh. Long dog. Hachi. Hugo, what are you doing here? Hugo. Oh, hello. Hello, long dog. Hello. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, cutie. Okay. Outside. Outside. Upstairs. Upstairs. Go, go, go. Upstairs. All right, there we go. Good Lord. All right. Yeah, this is a lot there. There we go. Okay. Robin tried to move quickly to make up for lost time, but Jeremy took forever to do everything. It was like he was trying to be annoying on purpose. If so, it was working. Robin nearly forgot to activate Wall of Iron on his shield bearers. If JC got a charge off, it would have been game over. To clear his mind, Robin took some deep breaths and opened the diary. Okay. To clear his mind, Robin took some deep breaths and opened the diario. While JC maneuvered his units, Robin quickly sketched out the terrain and lettered the files in ranks. He made a legend for the different units so he could use algebraic notation. Everything started to click. Everything started to click together in his head. What's that, your little diary? Jeremy pointed a ruler at Robin's composition book. I like to record my games, Robin explained. Yeah? That's good. Take notes, kid. You're about to get smoked, Jeremy T. We don't need the dialogue tag there. Oh, God. Take notes, kid. You're about to get smoked. Robin let Jeremy talk and jotted his moves. The second turn began. Dwarves were so slow, but he was starting to see a glimmer of hope. Jarelian immediately failed his roll to resist the Bane Blade. Jeremy's general... Hmm. He was overcome by dark whispers. Robin's defenders in the keep passed a morale roll to hold on to... Oof. Yeah, I kind of don't like that. Robin's defenders in the keep passed a morale roll to hold on under the barrage and gave the victory point. Aware his general was now a time bomb, Jeremy moved aggressively and declared a charge. The traitor knights rolled badly and halted an inch and a half short of engage range. Robin quietly smiled as the shield bearers were saved by their handicap. He'd only been able to afford the shield bearers by sticking them with the dead on their feet onus. If they'd had their full movement, they would have been obliterated. Jeremy ended his turn. Robin sprung his trap. There were 4 face-down infiltrate markers on the board. 1 was real, 3 were diversions. A cautious player would have stayed. A cautious player would have stayed safe and maneuvered the expensive traitor knights away from the marker on the wooded ridge. Jeremy wanted a quick win. After his charge flopped, Robin flipped over the infiltrate marker. It was the real one. Now, his Hawkmoon archers would be in perfect position to snipe Jeremy's general. That's illegal. Jeremy warned. Robin placed the last of his Hawkmoon archers behind the tree cover. Robin placed the last of his Hawkmoon archers behind the tree cover on the wooded ridge. Yeah. Robin placed the last of his Hawkmoon archers behind tree cover on the wooded ridge. He blinked at Jeremy Curry. Okay? No, it's not okay. Take those off the board. No, it's not okay. Take those off the board. That's a legal move, Robin explained. The Hawkmoon archers have infiltrate. I know. You can't even have those in your army. You already have an allied race. Dwarves and elves are enemies. Your list is illegal. Well, these were the only models in the case. Too bad. Well, these were the only models left in the case. Too bad. The referee looked at my list, remember? It's legal, Robin insisted. The ref messed up. No elves with dwarves. Sorry, bud. You can forfeit if you want. Jeremy's glasses slipped down his nose as he leaned over the table. Yeah, that's not right. I'm going to start my turn, okay? No way, kid. This is your first game. I've been playing for years. Listen and learn. Robin opened up the rulebook binder. Oh, geez. We got a lawyer here. Hey, Dunk, Jeremy called across the room. Everyone looked up. Duncan and Vlad were at the biggest table, setting up a massive battle. Once the newbies finished, they would face off so everyone could see what a clash between two full-size armies looked like. So everyone could see what a clash between two full-size armies was like. The battlefield already looked awesome. There we go. What up, Bailey 16? What it is, how I'm felt. The battlefield already looked awesome. Duncan's new Imperial army was fully painted. And then we got Carissa 98 Carlin, who says, hey, how are you doing today? Flushed cheeks. I don't know what you're up to, that your cheeks are flushing, but I hope that is not for me. Good God. All right. Once the newbies finished, they would face off so everyone could see what a clash between two full-size armies was like. The battlefield already looked awesome. Duncan's new Imperial army was already fully painted. Vlad's Blacklaw goblins were an endless sea of black leather, green faces, and sharp yellow teeth. The real... Their armies were 3 times as big as the tiny... The regulation-sized armies were 3 times as big as the tiny learning skirmishes. Tiny learning skirmishes. Hey, Dunk, JC called again. Yes, dear, Duncan sang back. He was assembling sections of a river with frothing rapids made from silicone caulk. I, too, am made from silicone caulk. Tell this kid you can't have both elves and dwarves in an army that already has an ally. JC. It's a learning game. It's not ranked, just play. Who cares? Duncan rolled his eyes. Robin suspected this was not the first time Jeremy had whined about the rules. I care. If he's learning, let him learn right, Jeremy argued. He is right. Robin has a bobbert. Read the rules, stupid, Vlad grunted. He was busy setting up a balsa... Wait, do I say both of them are busy doing something? Yeah, there we go. He was busy setting up a balsa wood rope bridge between 2 looming glyphs made from painted XPS foam. All right, so XPS foam was what they used back in the day, kind of over styrofoam. Later, you would get into like different kinds of like insulation foam that you'd use, and you cut with like a hot knife made from like a battery and a wire and so forth. But memories. Here, I was trying to tell you. Robin turned the rulebook towards Jeremy. Elf friend. Your force may field elf units. You do not gain Memory of the Moon or other exclusive faction bonuses. If your elf friend is slain, all elf units suffer -1 on morale rolls. I've never seen this, Jeremy complained. That's unfair. No, it's not. Here we go. A chair whistling like crazy. Driving me crazy. It's not. No, it's not. Nobody plays Bobbert because he takes a wizard's slot and his magic phase is a liability. He's been in the Codex since 2nd edition. Deal with it, Vlad said. He lifted his chin at Jeremy and dared him to talk back. This is so dumb, Jeremy muttered. He folded his arms over his chest. The Duke has spoken. JC, finish losing and get over here to help us set up the exhibition. Vlad poured it on. I'm not losing, Jeremy insisted. Robin had a different opinion. His Hawkmoon loosed their enchanted arrows. The Hawkmoon champion had a bonus to wound epic units. She rolled 3 6s. She rolled 3 6s. Jarelian the Cur went down in a wailing hail of shriek shots. With its host slain, Jeremy had to roll for the Bane Blade again. Black madness overtook the traitor knights, and they fought against each other to claim the accursed sword. Robin's berserkers broke from the wedge and charged. They cleaved right through the knights, and the champion's follow-up move put him in melee range of the Chaos Sorceress. The berserker champion hacked her to bits before she could complete horrid transformation. Now, the berserker champion had 3 rage counters. Nothing on the board could stop him. Can you believe this kid's dumb luck? Jeremy threw up his hands. Uh-huh, Duncan smirked. You can forfeit if you want. Robin couldn't help himself. A snicker ran through the room, and Vlad guffawed. The drama had drawn everyone's attention. Jeremy had an ugly look in his eyes. He wouldn't forget this. Screw this. I give up. I can't believe you roped me into this, Duncan. It's good for you. Failure builds character, Duncan. Duncan said. Vlad cackled at Jeremy's downfall. Good game. Robin held out his hand, just as he'd planned. Jeremy sighed and shook. Yeah, sure, whatever. I need to smoke. Jeremy gathered up his army and retreated to his car. There was no escape from the loss. Every move was chronicled in Diario de Martillo. Robin wrote down 1-F. He was very glad he'd stayed. Watch out for this kid, Duncan grinned. Behind a sea of goblins, Duke Vlad nodded. That is the chapter. All right, I like this. It's real heavy on the game mechanics. Like, it really is going to turn some people off. And like, honest to God, I think I just have to accept that fact, right? Because you're going to write a nerd book about people playing Nerdhammer in the back room of a hobby store. Lean into your audience is my thought there. There's no need to sugarcoat this or chrome plate it or what have you. All right, well, I'm happy about the outcome of our thing here. I will post these 2 chapters on Royal Road. And thank you to everybody who joined in. Special shout-outs to Sloth for getting some edit points in there. And shout-outs to me for cursing 7 times, and I have to donate $7 to the Leukemia Research Foundation. All right. I'm out of here for now. Good luck, and as always, penis pump.